Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be doing another alcohol marker longer drawing session, I guess. So right here I do have my Bristol board vellum surface, but I do have my sketch already finished and done with the, I guess like done on the iPad. So we are going to be drawing Agaela, I think is her name, from Honkai Star Rail. So I went ahead, did a quick sketch of her so that we could do some coloring today. Because I was looking at her color palette and I really like the fact that it's kind of like everything's on the lighter side. There's a lot of white and gold, there's a lot of yellow, and I don't think I've done like a primarily yellow piece. But I also want to play around with a lot of the whites in her outfit if I can. So I'm kind of regretting that I did not size this up a little bit bigger. So let me go ahead and put down this sheet of Bristol board. I can't tell which side it is. I think it's this side. I'm going to turn on my light pad so that we can kind of check how do I want to center her. Let's see. Let's turn off these so that you guys can also see a little bit better. And my plan is to do the liner directly on the paper so that we can actually do coloring. Now, there are some gaps in my line work right now, or my sketch, and I want to see if I can blend out the little petals to be a little bit blurry to kind of make them look like they're in the foreground. I have done this in the past, but I did it with like a full colored background. So I want to leave probably the background blank so we can have our leaves kind of cut in and out. But I think maybe, how do we want to do this? I'm assuming if I put this directly to the bottom and leave the top open, I could trim the paper at the very end if I think that this doesn't look too correct. Let me go grab some tape so we can tape our sketch to our vellum really quickly. Okay. I know the lighting's gonna look like very weird for quite a while, so please bear with me until we actually finish doing the line art. Okay, so this is kind of what our sketch looks like. At some point while I'm talking about all of this, I will put the time lapse of the sketch on the screen so that you can kind of see how I did the sketch on Procreate. But for now, what do we want to do? Let's pick, okay, let me turn this back on actually. Ah! Let's go ahead and look at our color swatches for our Fineliners. So her color palette is quite light, so, and I don't want to go too warm. I'm thinking, do we go gold? And then we can darken up with one of the browns, maybe? I think is probably our best bet. I could go like even lighter. Do this one for the line art. And then either pick, I think this one has molded, so this one's no longer available. But I think maybe one of these two for the darker colors, which I like to do at the very end. If not, we could use this one too. Let's do this one to start off. These ones look very similar, but let's start off with this one, and then later on when we need a darker color to finish and tie everything together, I'll choose that at like a later point. So quickly grab the appropriate marker. So if you're new, these are the Magicfly art Fineliners. So on one side, we have our brush tip. On the other side, we have our fine liner side. So I like using these for doodling. I've been liking using the Fineliner side specifically for the alcohol marker drawings since they work super well. I think we're okay. So, where's my mouse? Okay, so song recommendation. If you haven't listened to Plave, highly recommend it. If you like kind of city pop, I guess, might be, I don't know if that's like the correct term, but their song Chroma Drift is so good. So I highly recommend that song. Okay, let's see if I can do the line art. I might change the camera angle so you guys can see a little bit better because right now you're a little far. But we are going to be starting off with the line art. So I'm using the light pad to help me transfer my sketch over basically. So I'm going to start off with her eyes. Now, unfortunately, this color is so light. So it might be even hard for you guys to see where I'm going to be inking. Can't guarantee this is a better angle, but... okay. That's gonna be a problem. Let me shuffle my light pad over. I forgot that since my... I guess my plugin, my outlet for this is a little bit further away. I can't really see my own line art. I'll have to dim it a bit so that I can see where I'm placing my lines. But basically my outlet's a little bit too far for my cord. And because of that, I have flipped my light pad kind of like upside down. Which has caused my arm basically to shut off the light occasionally, or to dim it if I accidentally place on top of the button. So this is kind of what we're looking at. I think later on I might have to go back in and fix up some areas because I actually can't see super clearly where I've already done the line art, unfortunately. But because this marker is so light, I think it might be okay. If I make a little bit of mistakes here and there, it's not going to be super, like, detrimental. Dim it even more. I hope it's like not too bad for you guys to see. If not, we'll speed through all of this footage, even though I would like to leave majority of it in real time. But I feel like this piece is a little bit more on the simple side, so it might not be too long that we're working on the line art. And I thought I screwed up because usually I forget to change my sketch color to be lighter, but because we're transferring this way, darker line art is actually a lot better than the lighter one that I used for like, I guess my watercolor transfers? Or like on surfaces that I can't use the light pad, like shikishi boards. What else is there? Just any opaque surface, but because we're doing this on a like paper surface, don't have to worry about it too much here. And another plus side is that once we finish doing the coloring with this line work, I will be able to go back in, darken some of the lines that I really want to have more contrast, and that way we can also fix some areas if we want things to not really stand out after. So it doesn't really matter if I make too many small mistakes, as long as I don't make anything too drastically obvious. So the bad thing about this though is that I actually did not really plan Agela's I guess lighting situation, which is probably a good start in terms of wanting to plan your coloring, just because having some semblance of lighting will give you an easier time shading, adding highlights and all that stuff. Because usually I do top left or top right if I'm doing like very generic lighting. And I could go something like more dramatic, but I still want to keep like a very light color palette, because I love how kind of like light and airy her color palette is compared to some of the other characters. Did I mention that I'm drawing a character from Honkai Star Rail? If I didn't, now you know. I have not really played too much into the new patch quite yet. I'm probably going to do it a little bit later. So I don't mind if this one's in front. I'm probably going to find a... How do I want to do this? I guess I'll just have to be careful and keep my reference nearby to leave these gaps. Because I guess the line art having gaps will help me have an indication. I really like Noah's voice, especially in Chroma Drift. It's so good, but also in Dash. Oh, I usually don't do this, but I was watching like a person react to Infinite's killing voice because it got recommended to me. And I think one of the first comments, or like the top comment, I guess, on their video is that they were making a comparison between 17, I guess like their debut situation almost, or like their company situation at the time, and Infinite's were actually very similar. And they're like, they kind of give similar vibes in a sense, especially like to their own fans and stuff. And I found that very relatable because I am a in spirit and a carrot. And I consider both groups like my comfort groups, but of course they're in like different eras. But Plave also gives me that feeling a little bit. I'm glad Plave is seeing like a lot of success. They have such good music. They're like super funny. Also, their little mascot characters are so freaking adorable. I'm gonna try to find some time to crochet at least like Yejun's, because I have the appropriate colors for his. It's so dang cute. This is kind of what we're looking like. I always debate whether or not I'll make these into like an ASMR session or like a full talking real-time video session. I don't know what compelled me to do a talking video today. It would be nice to do another ASMR one, but I kind of want to do one that's like for colored pencils. But I guess I haven't done a talking real-time video for colored pencils yet. And I would like to do that at some point as well. I definitely made her younger. I just realized that. Oops. I feel like I tend to draw the characters younger, which is not a good habit. Like, I could have made her eyes a little less large. Kind of elongate her face a smidge. Also, to the person who's been asking me to draw, I think her name is Castoris? Or Castoris? My ability to figure out how things are pronounced is absolutely terrible, so I apologize. I will draw her eventually. That I will promise. I just don't know when exactly. Because I'm not sure how much of her actual design has been, like, released. And it would be nice to have a good set of references. I don't remember if Agaela has, what is it called? Jewelry on this hand. Do some petals here. Okay, I think we have majority of her, like, head finished, so we'll move on to the rest of her body. So I don't know how airy I'm gonna keep this, because I might want to push the shadows. So we'll see. Because I do love coloring in kind of like white objects or cloth. Just because I can play around with a lot of the reflective lights, a lot of pastel colors if I can. So hopefully if things go well, oh my god, I forgot. I was gonna say maybe I'll stream on Wednesday night, which I think is when this video will come out for you guys. But I do have a call with friends, so that might not be an option. We'll see, because usually my calls aren't extremely long, or like we don't call until super late. They usually have to go to sleep before midnight. And usually I do like my midnight gorilla streams anyway, so maybe it's okay. We'll see. because I did prep my 2 watercolor paintings that we could do. Or if I just want to chill, we could do like something else. I think alcohol markers would be fun too. But I don't really have a drawing prep for that if I do alcohol markers. Maybe I'll squeeze in some drawing when I'm talking to my friends. If we don't decide to play chain together. The funny thing is, like, as I'm doing the line work, I think you guys actually have a better view than I do. Because there definitely are some areas here I can't really see what I've already lined. Okay, so I think we are almost done with the line art, which I'm excited to do the coloring for this to a certain extent. Like I said, I don't really plan out the lighting. I think it would be easiest to make the shadow on this side. I think it's just easier for me to interpret in my brain since I didn't really make a plan. If not, I either have to recolor my sketch digitally to plan something out really quick, which I'm not going to do because who has time for that right now? And I just want to color at this point. Quickly check my reference. I'm always thankful for the people who upload those almost an exploded version of the character reference sheets where it's like you can see all the different angles. Some with like certain parts of their model toggled off so you can actually see what's going on. Really helps because sometimes I can't rack my head around certain details. I think we are good. Yeah, I think we're good. There are some, like, let me make this brightness a lot more intense so you guys can kind of see. I have petals here, which I think I'm going to not do the line work for, and we're just going to wing it because I will leave the background, I think, white, and then we can kind of play around with the rest of this. This is gold. I think we're good though, for the most part. I might actually... Oh, I think that's why I can't see. I have like another light behind this side, like on my right side, just to give more light to my hand, I guess. But because of it, the shadow is really intense sometimes. So whenever my hand's like really close to the paper, I actually can't see where the marker is being placed. So I think we're good. I'm going to turn back my lights and we'll go back to an overview so that you guys can see the entire line work before we actually start with the coloring. Okay, so here is the Lineart version. So you guys can kind of see it. So I do have like a enormous amount of room at the top compared to everywhere else. So I might actually crop the top or something, or we'll add like petals to kind of fill in the space. But for now, let's go ahead and choose our colors. So we are going to be mostly using the Ohuhu markers, but I think if you heard me talk about, I think in some previous videos where I used the Ohuhu alcohol markers, I am running out of some of the skin tones for my fairer skinned characters, so I might use some from the Copic sketch. So I have these still here, and because they do have like a portrait or like skin tone set, I will probably pick from this one alongside with the 24 manga illustration set. So if you haven't watched that video and you're interested in what colors they have and all that jazz, you can check that out. But I think we'll pull skin tone from there. Other than that, we can pull a lot of the yellows just from this sheet alone, but I want to find some like accent colors to use. So a lot of the whites, even some of her hair shadows or some places where I might want to push the elements back a little bit, we can play around with the type of colors we want to use. So we could go like purple or blue or green or pink. I think safer colors might be pink and blue in terms of our whites. And I'm going to keep them fairly pale so that we can mix them in with a lot of our cream colors, our yellow colors, colorless blender. Now I see a really light pink, which would be good for blending in some of our shadows. So we have this one. We also have grayish cherry. Kind of like that one more. So let's look for that first. So I don't really have to look for skin tones at this point. Not yet. I will definitely pull some other colors. Or we'll do a majority of the skin tone with the Copics maybe. Since I've already done... Let me grab the piece actually. So I do have this one of Masaki. And I do like how I did the skin tone here. It is quite pale, but there is like subtle transitions of like the peach tones to purple to a very faded grayish blue. So I think that could be fun to use again. So maybe we'll do that. Let's see what else. V322, so a kind of bluish purple that's very, very pale. So you got two kind of purple colors, one that's more closer to pink, another that's closer to blue. Will be B220 as well. And if we want a vibrant blue, we'll use Frost Blue. So I usually like to put kind of like a teal green, probably with like more of like yellowy oranges. So if we do end up pushing Agela's colors towards slightly more coppery orange, then I might pull some of the mints and our greens out. Because some of these would actually look really nice. So I might pull... I do have a mint blue instead. I'll take aqua mint. I might bring turquoise blue. BG68. BG6. BG. It's here. Okay, so we have these colors. I'm gonna pick slightly darker colors for our shadows. So, I do like using purple and I do like using blue. So I believe I pull the blue. Let's get a more like a pink or purple. Thistle's kind of a good in-between. There's definitely like a lot of colors that I typically use. Let's see, RV, here it is. Thistle. For a little bit like that glow, we could do YR110. So mellow peach, something a little bit more vibrant and orangey. What else do we want? Oh, her eye color. We have a green, so kind of like a yellowy green towards the bottom. So let's go Celadon. Celadon green. Transition to kind of like a blue green. Maybe we'll do grass green. GY2. Let's see. It always takes me forever to look for these colors. Let's look for this one too. Pond green, G360. $390. G360. Still need grass green. GY2. I feel like the ones that have like shorter numbers, like shorter amount of numbers, should be easier to see. I shouldn't be tired already. So they mixed brown for her upper eyelash color, so I might do the same. We can use suntan or something a little bit more reddish, like mahogany is actually not bad. Let's go something coppery. So let's go Tiger Lily, YR172. YR172. Let's see. YR172. So it's more orangey. 190, YR180. $170, $172. Okay. Might bring up mahogany, so Y12. I feel like sometimes this is like why you would want the caps to match closer to the actual colors, because sometimes I can't find them because I expect it to be like a certain cap color and it's not. Y12. Where? Y12. I also need the colorless blender to help me blend out our leaves. So I didn't pick our gold and kind of like our yellow for her hair. I should change my eye comfort shield. Okay, her hair is a lot more pale than what I was going for. So let's go Primrose as our very lightest color. So 120, 21. Some orange or yellow to kind of highlight our highlights, so I'll use mustard. Y130. We have even a lighter one. We have primrose as well. Actually, what the heck? We have primrose, and we have like primrose without the eye. Okay. Let's see what else. So our highlight colors, the one to kind of outline our highlights. Calamansi. I guess calamansi would work the best. If I want to warm it up, you can go with the grayish yellow. Or deep cream, I guess. We'll use those together maybe. So Y040. Use deep cream, which is Y230. Where? Y230. Okay. We have all of those. So we use our shadows. This is when I want to play around a little bit with what colors you want to use in her hair. So usually for characters that are more blonde, sometimes I do kind of lean towards purple or pink for their shadows, as long as it's kind of kept on the more pale side. So I might even go baby blossom or antique fuchsia. So I might bring both so that we can use one as a transition color just in case the other one's too dark. 270. Or 270. Okay, we also need a kind of like highlighter-y yellow, which was, I guess, lightning yellow, so Y080. I need to do a character that has like a lot more green, or maybe a lot more blue or something. Because I think we've done red, I think we've done purple and kind of like a grayish one, so kind of knock out more of the colors so we can get more use out of all the markers we have. So it's a lot of yellow. So gold colors we have this plus that. So shadows we can use pale ochre, go darker. So 270 and R1, YR1, and then Y270. Making sure I don't have it on here. I might grab a green as well. So once I find it, let's see. Pale ochre, Y270. Let's pick out a green so we can kind of keep it towards that goldish color. I guess we have a green in here. It's actually not too bad, maybe. Or beige green, G240. Okay, so I think we have the majority of the colors selected. I will pull out more if I need to, but for now, big selection of colors here, ranging from just generic shadows for like the whites of her garment. Then we have our eye color, and then we have our, what was I using orange for? Oh, this is for her eyes as well. Then the rest is mostly for the hair color alongside with some of the gold elements. So other than that, I do have the skin tones stuff that I want to work with right here with the Copic. So let's go ahead and start with that and get with the coloring. And I think it'll be in this order. this is kind of the order that I'm going to be using them. So these are kind of like our very light base, some warmth to the skin, and then our shadow colors is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make these kind of like transition in this kind of method, I guess. So let's go ahead and color the skin. I might lean some upper parts more closer to yellow if I need to. And we might knock this out more. We'll see. Because I might not want to make it like as pink. Maybe I want it to be more like dull. So I might have to pull out some of my Ohuhus to check which ones I prefer. But for now, how do we want to do this? I guess we'll start on this side of the face because I am a little bit timid. Oh, yeah, I guess it's fine. I don't really have any petals coming through, I think, on her skin, so I think it's fine. Okay, let's start. And so I'm going to pretend our lighting is closer to the upper left-hand side, which is very typical for a lot of my drawings if I don't have like a concrete plan. I don't even remember. That's her ear. I could have like botched that. So I'm kind of trying my best to blend these out to the best of my ability. I also want to leave a little bit of an area for our lighter color here. So if I was planning out this a little bit better, I would actually leave a little bit more areas of just white for that contrasting highlight. So I do have more like some of my transition colors for her skin tone that I might have to use because I don't want to get it too pink on this side. They're a smidge like cloudy, not cloudy, I guess like a smidge streaky. See if we want to lean this in some more pink, or will I regret this? Because usually, sometimes it's hard to determine whether or not some colors, especially like for the skin tone, become too light, because usually the hair might be of a color that will put the skin more into context. But her hair color is on the lighter side too, so I don't know how much it's going to actually contribute. Now I feel like she's going to look more sunburnt. At least on my end, she looks a little bit too pink. better than having her look a little bit too orange, I guess. So one thing I did forget, but I don't really care too much, is that my sketch is still actually behind this paper. So I might be absorbing some of the marker ink. Okay, let's darken up under the neck. Oops. Transition it to a purpley pink here so that we can kind of lump in our blues after. Also, just kind of like a more faded color here. It kind of looks nice. So I don't really remember if this is actually the colors that I started using for our shadows. It might be. Because I could have went with the more bluish green blue instead. Might have made her too pink. Let's go ahead and shade in her arm. Okay. Trying to think whatever music have I been listening to. I think there's like another artist I found recently. I don't really remember their name though. But I really like their songs. Because I feel like they have a little bit more of like a raspier voice. I don't know, I really like their voice though, so maybe if I remember I'll put it on the screen. But I'm gonna have to dig around in my Spotify to see if I can find her. Okay, so we have at least this arm kind of ready to go. But recently, like in my sketchbook, I've been using alcohol markers a lot more than some other mediums. And it's not even like a full spread of just like the alcohol markers, like fully rendered. It's been more like sketches and limited color palette again. But I did like, I think 4 or 5 spreads of the same color palette. Trying to make sure I don't miss any areas here. I've seen some people work with like watercolors and alcohol markers together on a shikishi board. I would like to try that eventually. I do have like some tiny shikishi boards that I could test that out with. So maybe I'll give that a go. I'm always nervous working with alcohol markers compared to like some other traditional mediums. I don't know if it's because like sometimes I feel like it's easy to build up color, and then other times I feel like I don't let enough transitions of colors to let it build up slowly. Because I feel like watercolors and like colored pencils, I can go like a lot slower and build things up. Hand looks so weird. I might grab that other blue. Yeah, I didn't give her enough of a palm. Very strange looking hand. Okay, so for now, I think we're gonna leave the skin. So we can work on some of the other areas just to give a little bit more context, because I don't want to accidentally go too intense for the skin and then decide not to really do that anywhere else. So let's put in her eye color probably next. I forgot to choose like a proper gray, I think. Or maybe these ones will work. Coloring in kind of her sclera. Okay, so we have green eyes. Let's start off with our latest color. Now I like to leave like a band of color at the very top, so I'm gonna still do that. I'm also gonna leave a small highlight at the bottom. What color do I want to add? I guess purple or like pink? Pinkish purple at the very top. I'll use the brown to color in her eye line, or lash line, I guess. So because it's so dark, it is covering up my initial line art. So I'm trying to be kind of careful. And then I'll slowly transition it kind of down the eye between brown and probably one of the greens. Using our blue-green. Switch it up with our kind of mid-tone green here. So the eyes are usually the part that I think benefits the most when I add darker line work. I feel like her eyes are lopsided regardless. We'll fix it later. Usually the line art helps. So let me go ahead and put in our leaf colors maybe. Take our colorless blender. I know colorless blender technically is to not really blend per se. I've seen different ways people have used the colorless blender to help with their drawings and illustrations. So hopefully that will work. And when it dries, it'll become less of that gray color, because right now it's just because the paper is now saturated with moisture. Let's see if we can kind of blend these out a little bit. I also wonder if I put like a whole kind of blob of the alcohol or like the colorless blender first, and then put in our yellow and see maybe if it gives us more of a feathery look. I also need to fill this up with a bit more rubbing alcohol or something. It doesn't really work, so I'll just stick with the old method of kind of blurring this out a little bit. I'll use a little bit of primrose. We'll add one more, kind of to cut this border. I might use some of my like Copic colorless blender to blend this out. Or not blend it out, I guess, in this case. Like, I have a refill, just colorless blender ink, I guess, in this case. I think it's just rubbing alcohol, but I can use that and maybe to refill this one. It's kind of pretty like this. I actually want to do one more. Kind of have it hooked upwards. And I want maybe one more in the background instead of the foregrounds here. I think this blurs it out actually quite nicely. Even if it has like a slate haze, I'm pretty sure it'll dry completely though, so it won't be too bad. Okay, let's see. Let's color in the rest of the petals maybe. Wait, this is her hair. This is why I can't interpret my own line art. So I'm gonna add one more. It's still blurred. Okay, not too bad. So let's do her hair. This is kind of one of the pieces I know that I will like it a lot more after I do the line art, but I can't be too confident that I'll like it at the very end. So I still have to, you know, try my best to make sure it looks somewhat correct, or like at least in a way that I think I will enjoy it. So let's plan our highlights, because majority of them will be white. So you have top left. So even though this marker is pretty much dead, it's still doing its job of blending quite well. So on this side of the hair, I will make the highlights probably this color. And as we approach closer to the upper left, it will be the white of the page. So I do have to be careful around this, because it's supposed to still have blurry edges. So we just don't want to make any harsh edges if we're adding like darker colors surrounding it. Okay, I might switch to the other end and really block this in. Color this in. She kind of looks like a mix of Lumine, the way how I've drawn her. I'm going to try to smooth this out actually, so let me take our lightest skin tone here and go over a pass again. Just so she looks a little less splotchy. Okay. I gave her too much of a baby face. Okay, so next up, I guess, how do we want to do this? What was this for? I don't know why I had such an intense orange. I do want to see, actually, whoops, let me quickly check this. 172. Oh, this is for like the coppery colors. So I need mustard yellow. It's 130, so it's this one. To help outline some of our highlight colors here. We can also make this a little bit more of an intense, vibrant color if we want to. I don't really do it like this. I usually build up some other colors first. So let's use cream, probably the shade of her hair. Oh yeah. What is... I guess this ends okay. That's weird. Just like little specks everywhere. Yellow is like one of the harder colors to shade sometimes. Because I kind of want to keep the integrity of the yellow, but sometimes like picking darker colors to shade with makes things look too orangey, too highlightery. So some of these more grayish colors work really well. Also adding like purple to some areas, which feels more of like a complementary color, helps a lot too. But that being said, we don't have to put too intense of like shading, I guess. 'Cause sometimes like when I do alcohol marker drawings and I'm doing hair, sometimes I'm adding like a heck of a lot of colors. So a lot of these areas, I might add a little bit of that reddish, pinkish purple into everything. Might switch the songs to Island. I love Plave's like slower songs. They give me a lot of comfort. I think that's why I really think they kind of give me the same feeling as like 17 and Infinite. I guess 1232 is also a very good song. But the piano in Island I absolutely love. Also, not expecting Play to release like a full English track. Very cool. But I do like how this looks, kind of with that orangey color. I actually might get rid of the paper from underneath. I think it's actually, let's see if it's absorbing any of the color. Actually came out unscathed. So I'm actually gonna rip this off. I feel like maybe I should add more hair. Am I crazy? Does it look like she doesn't have enough hair? A little bit. Let's see. And white. Okay, so that deep cream color again. So it's kind of like the inside of her hair has that really bright yellow, which I should have blocked in probably first, because now it'll be fairly vibrant still. But some of the areas might be a little bit too dark now. We could have had that more of that highlightery yellow coming through. Still very highlightery, at least in person. I don't know how much it's going to pick up on camera, but definitely not as light. I could try my best to see if I can push and lighten a little bit of the color with the colorless blender. I don't think it's going to help that much. Let's add in our purples. So you can kind of fix some of these shapes here. So I'm using kind of like a purpley color right now. Layer it. So this color is not going to really be applicable everywhere, but it'll still help bring a little bit of vibrancy to some of the areas that have the shadows here. I don't want to add too much of it everywhere. But I definitely like it with this kind of like orangey sun hit kind of area. I think this is my favorite part. I think it works the best. Bring back the deep crayon. Olivia June's voice. How pretty. So I don't remember where I left off. I took a bit of a break. Let's see. Add some shadows though. It's definitely more pinky than anything. Okay, I'm gonna do, I guess, the center of the flower. So for, I don't know if I like her hair. I feel like it's still lacking depth. So, see how much I can attempt to fix this a little bit more. I really can't tell if I want to make this a part of her ear or if this should be something else. I feel like I want to add some shadows to the background too of like petals. I might use this color if I remember. I may add a little bit here as well. I guess we'll add mustard. And then deep cream. Maybe I've just drawn her hair in a way that I don't really like, or if I should have followed the pattern of her hair a little bit more closely. I think I have to listen to, or not listen, watch the music video for Island again. Because I think there's like a certain line, I actually don't know who sings it. Because sometimes like Bambi in Eunho's voice shock me. Because maybe it's Hamon's voice that I'm hearing. Because I feel like I can distinguish Noah and Yejun's voice like super easily. Okay, let's add our gold here. So I think I used paled ochre. That's what I chose. And then I'll add a little bit of that orangey color as we get closer to our light source. I don't want it as dark. So I do have one more darker color that I'm going to use to help really push this color quite a bit. But I still want to leave kind of like white as the highlight. So I might add in a little bit more orangey color like this. Yeah, I might have to see what other characters I can draw that will kind of fit the other color schemes that I haven't really done with like alcohol markers. Whoops, let's drop that. You can see I overloaded this with too much ink and that's feathering like a heck of a lot. Do an illustration of like maybe one of the Miku designs. Because deep sea Miku, that could be very fun to do if I do like plan a full background so that I can do a lot of underwater maybe? I don't know. Underwater is sometimes like a bit intimidating to tackle. Add some orange into this too. So let's see. Use this around here. Use calamansi. Kind of getting a little bit more to that edge of the highlights to kind of give it more of that glowy kind of look here. I can't wait until I get to fix these areas with the line art. I think this always happens when I'm like displeased with how these look. But honestly, at this point, I shouldn't be shocked that it doesn't really look, I guess, like how I was imagining it. until I actually fix it up. Okay, so let's focus more on her clothing right now, because I think that's going to be one of the last things, other than probably touching up the petals to make sure that they stand out enough. Assuming either deep cream or one of the like purpley grayish colors that I chose, which I think are these ones. So maybe I'll start with the grayish cherry. So that being said, while I'm like working on shadows and like changing colors, usually for like areas like this, I switch between colors quite a bit to make sure that the colors blend nicely. Because right now, I don't know what I'm doing. Hopefully it won't be too bad. I might pick like a lighter color because I do want to have like reflective light as well. This is antique. So I might use the primrose, I think, instead of the, what was it called? The deep cream color. I think that one was a little bit too dark. And I might pick out a kind of like a light gray color. I don't know if any of these would work. CG020 is the lightest, so you can probably use that and then hopefully transition some of the colors in. So usually depending on our color palette, sometimes I make like the edges more of a warmer color. In this case, I'm doing a cooler color and then letting it transition downwards to something else. I wish I came in with a little bit more of a plan here. So you need to make sure, is this yellow or is this white? Actually, it's also white, so I'm just going to color these in. Add in our blue again. So I think like blue and purple are like the ones that I usually use for whites. I guess like the shadows for like white clothing and stuff. And then oftentimes I take like a peach color or like the skin tone color, whatever's like super light, and let that blend in as well. So I might have to pull out another color that might work with that. Even like maybe one of the Copic ones. Because luckily all these alcohol markers, they actually work quite well with one another. Now the problem is like interpreting my own line art here. So this is kind of what it looks like, peach in the blue only, and then we'll use a little bit of the grayish cherry. A little bit of a transition color. Go back to our peach color. A little bit of our yellow. Looks kind of pretty. I do like how it looks a little bit more like those Prisma colors. Now I need to look at this other reference because I can't tell if it's the lighting. No, this is more of a cream color. So do we have like a cream color? We have sand white maybe, or the yellowy gray maybe. Yellow gray 04. This might work. I'll probably mix it with one of the yellows. I feel like the mystery person I'm thinking about whose vocal it is, maybe it's Inho. Back to using some of the blue. Okay, and we can do this area. Try to keep this one a little bit on the lighter side. I need to look up the line distribution. It's gonna drive me insane. Add a little bit of yellow to our flowers again. Blend, blend, blend. So a lot of these areas are kind of like a golden yellowy color, so I still want to keep it like somewhat vibrant. So I think I had calamansi as a color. Start this off as the base, I guess. The different references I'm looking at, some of them make it look more of like an orangey gold. So I can't really tell what to use. Because if not, I should find a different color to make it a little bit more like bronzy. E490. E490. It's called Deep Orange. It kind of has like a little bit of that coppery color. I feel like this one works. Okay. I don't think I know how exactly I wanted this fold to look like. Maybe I'll take like another small break. I'm gonna look up who sings that line. Because I'm also like 100% sure it's Eunho. Watch me be wrong and it's actually like Bambi or Noah. But like line distribution wise, I feel like it has to be Eunho. Alright, let's look it up. Plave, Island, lyrics. Have my sound off. Okay. Quickly zoom on ahead. Yeah, it's Eunho. Okay. I really like his line. It's like at the very beginning. I guess it's like the line after Bambi. Just gonna color in some of these petals. Or maybe I should use like the highlighter yellow. Make them really vibrant here. Okay, make this on the yellow side. I might knock it to be a little bit more purple rather than like the brown golds I've been doing. Because sometimes I wish I made it a little bit more atmospheric in terms of like things that are further away from you would be more lighter and pale. We'll do it like that. So the ribbon is black. We have a gold flower. I guess there is one more flower here that I actually didn't draw in. Whoops. So use calamansi. Wait. A little too dark. Yeah, let's use this one first. I feel like sometimes when I set markers, like, on a different side, like, I keep a lot of the markers I was currently using more towards the right-hand side, and then the ones that I thought I was done, I put on the left-hand side. So I forgot I had this mustard color. Should be a good color to use to kind of like transition our darker colors to my light color here. These are a lot darker. I brought like a green for like transitioning some of my gold colors to be more of like that realistic gold, where it has like a tinge of that greenish color into it. Don't think I'm using it. Might add a little bit of transition of pinky purple here. It's more of a faded purple. Oh, like one song I really love about, like, from Plave, I don't know why I said it like that, like, my voice was shaking, from Plave, it's like the one OST that they did. Let's see if I can change the song. I have it like on my other screen, so I have to turn away. Which one is it called? Let's see. It's not the We Don't Stop, it's called What If. So it's called What If, and it's for, I guess, the drama or like the OST for Di Heri. I don't know, the song's so pretty. Because I know they did another one, which is called We Don't Stop. I think that one's more upbeat. I'm just a sucker for ballads. I love ballads so much. Because like I'm not like super new to Plave, because I did get into them technically when they debuted. Ish, like around that era, I guess. I couldn't tell if that was Hamon's voice. To me, Noah and Yejun have very easy vocals to recognize. I don't know if it's also because like their voices, like their vocal types, it's kind of like my favorite. They're very, like, to me at least, very easy to listen to. And I think, like, during the early days of Plave, I listened to so many of, like, Noah's covers. But the chorus for this song is so pretty. And I forget what it was. I think Woozy from 17, he makes like some of my favorite ballads. I don't know, he has like a certain type, I guess, of ballad. Because I love his, like, What Kind of Future. I like Bumzoo's. I think it was not the most recent, but it was like, I think Woozy, like, made a song for him. Like, wrote one of his ballads. That one I really love. He also did one for Becco, which I also really loved. But they have, like, a certain type of feeling that I really enjoy. So I know I'm always in good hands when 17 releases a ballad. Because Woozy's so good at them. But also, like, any of 17's, like, OSTs. Super good. Regardless of who's singing it. Because I think one of my favorites is actually Dino's. Icarus, I think? Is it Icarus? Or is that the drama? He has like a really, really good OST song. Okay. I can make these. Nope. This one darker, I guess. Okay, so we need yellow on the inside, black on the outside, so I will add a little bit of a light highlight, I think. The edge here, probably here as well. So for our black, we will do the base with probably a brown. At the, I guess the darkest, we'll do WG090, which is like a very dark gray, but it's like a warm gray because I don't want it to be like stark black. And she has like 2 yellow stripes on it, so maybe I will put a do I want to use? Maybe this one? Put it all over, and then we'll use our dark color to leave out some areas for our stripes. I feel like it's never gonna happen at this point. I need 17 solo songs. Mingyu's solo song is like one of my favorites. I probably talked about this like a gajillion times, but I truly do love that song a lot. There's only fan cams of it. Actually, I might use this to plan out our stripes. Circa. See how much this can cover. Excuse me. So like I said, it's a little too much on the cooler side, but we'll use kind of like the brown ochre color to hopefully blend it out a little bit more. Let's get the stripes in. Add in our dark color. I'll kind of bridge the gap a little bit here. Gonna fill in the gaps again. I might find one more darker gray, because yes, I'm blending it a lot and now it's like feathering. 070 would work. Okay. Kind of help knock out the brown a little bit to be a little less intense in color. If you guys have like a favorite genre of music, do let me know. Because I know not everyone jives with like ballad songs. Because sometimes like certain hip hop songs I don't really jive with. It's kind of on the dark side. Let's see if I can add maybe like purpley shadows into this, maybe. I know I said I wanted to add like mint and like some other greenish colors. I did not end up doing that. I think I'm too scared to really push some of these colors. I'm gonna try my best to add a little bit in here and there. But I feel like I'm still leaning very much in towards like the blue. So another area I could add them into is probably towards some of the golds, if I really wanted to. But you can see I'm still too timid. But I'll probably add a little bit more shadows to her skin tone as well. I forget which song I was listening to. That was a cover. I'm just going to continue to talk about Plave. I'm so sorry. Talk about Plave more than I talk about Honkai Star Rail. I forget which cover it was that I listened to a lot, other than I think it was the New Jeans cover. Because his version was so lovely. I think it might be, unless that's Bambi's cover, it might be Bambi's cover. Someone like covered Beck Yedin's Square. Unless it was both of them. But I love that song a lot. Continue darkening some of these areas. I hate this hand. It's so poorly drawn. Okay, so let me see if I can get some lighter shadows into here. I want a scrap piece of paper to do this on. I think this one might work. Might regret this. So we'll do one coming here, because I feel like this is going to take much more to really budge. Colorless blender. Okay. So it's lighting it up. It's also like fading it, so hopefully that won't be too bad. So make sure it is this. I got like orange on me. Looks like I have rust on my hands. know why I went like just full force using the colorless blender. I could have been like wrong and chose the wrong color by accident, and I did not check. So I should really check that I grabbed the colorless blender, because that would have been like a nightmare. I might grab my Copic one. Actually, let me grab that one, because I think that one has like colorless blender fluid left in it. Oh, there's definitely a orange marker, because it looks like I have rust. But here's the refill, alongside with the colorless blender, which I will quickly clean off just in case. Let's really saturate and blur these out. I kind of want to add even like smaller. Maybe I won't. Let's not get too crazy. Like I said, there's probably a better way of doing this. Do I dare put one here? This might be a bad idea. I think I'll help a little bit with the depth. Well, this one's really making it turn like white. This looks like more like a bruise now. Maybe the slow blending worked out better. Yeah, it looks more like a bruise. Whoops. So let's add one more here. Oh my god. Looks like a bruise. I think we're done with the coloring though. So let's go ahead and switch over. I'm going to clean up everything first, and then we'll switch on over to doing darker line art and hopefully kind of finishing this up. We'll see. Why did I do this? Maybe I should just make it more in focus. Or I keep expanding this and I'm going to make it more regretful. Really do the edges. Trying to make this one match a little bit closer value-wise. So maybe some of the ones that are a little closer. Oops. This is slightly more dry because Blender is actually working in my favor, so I don't overdo it. Okay, let me clean up really quick and I'll come back. Okay, so this is kind of what the overview looks like. I don't know how I feel about it, but we still have one more step first, which is going to be making the Lineart stand out a little bit more, and sometimes this corrects everything for me, so we'll see how this goes. Otherwise, this will just be a piece that I'm not too happy with. So let's go ahead and find a color that will match nicely in terms of making our line art dark enough. I'm leaning towards the browns, I think. Masaki, I did like a purple. No, I did like a blue. Looks like. I think I'll go, yeah, one of these browns. Let's check first. Squeaky chair. Let's see what we have. I think something to match this would work the best. So maybe this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how this goes. If not, we can go a little cooler. I think this works. Yes. Okay, so let's zoom in and we can try to fix our line work. Hopefully, this will kind of make a difference to some degree. Can't guarantee, but usually a little bit of darker line work helps. How did I get my fine liner on myself? Let's see if I can wipe this off. Tissue. I didn't really know how I wanted to do her eyes, so I'm gonna do a little bit more of a nod towards how I usually do eyes, because I make the top portion kind of like dark, like right under where I put like the highlight color. See if we can do this eye next. Problem is like this eye, it's not as like, let me explain it. So I think that's contributing why I think the eyes look super uneven, besides the fact that they are, but the line art's so light. Seeing if I can get away with changing it. Also, I don't know where I picked up this habit from. Of like, when I do line art or sketching for the eyes more recently, I guess like sometimes I don't do it when I'm sketching, but like when I'm painting the eyes or doing, I guess, like inking and stuff, I always do like the double bands for the what is it called? The iris? I don't know. I've been liking it, but I didn't realize how often I actually painted it like that as well, like besides doing this traditionally. But you can see how much the eyes already stand out, which is fantastic. Do I like it better? I don't know yet. Maybe. They're not like super even though, but I'm a little bit less bothered by the eyes at this point. I might come back with like a white paint marker to see if I can bring out some more of the highlights and stuff if I need to. Because even like adding a little bit of a highlight here would be nice. Maybe. So my favorite part is always doing these parts of the hair. Adding that depth just really helps make this look a little less flat. I feel like I made her look too kind. I feel like she's a little bit more, not sinister per se, but I wouldn't call her like super duper kind, I guess. At least like not from her demeanor. I think it doesn't help because I gave her such large eyes and such a small face that the proportions probably make her look a lot younger. I'm sure I'll draw her again digitally, so I'll get redemption on trying to make her actually look a little bit more older. So oftentimes when I'm doing this portion of the line art, I don't do like the big fluid lines. This fine liner is kind of like on the thinner side. It's not super thin, but like it's still on the thinner side. So like for me to build up some of our line width variation, I do more of like a scratchy motion of a back and forth. Just be careful, like just try your best to align your lines when you go back and forth so that you don't create like actual like scratchy lines of like line where they don't line up, because then it becomes like very messy looking. This line art's not my strong suit, but I will try my best to take my time with it to make it look a little bit more on the cleaner side, because I don't do very well with like rushing it and making things like look more fluid in a sense. I'm just gonna fake it till I make it. You can kind of see like I'm kind of picking and choosing my lines. And anything I don't really want it to stand out, I'm not going to line, because this can be ambiguous all at once. But I don't think the effect with the petals look too bad. I think I could have got away with a lot less, that's for sure. Not like that. Sometimes when I screw up the thickness, I'll just try my best to hide it by making it even thicker. But that's sometimes a bad idea. So hopefully I'll play more of like Amphoreus. Is it Amphoreus? Amphoreus? Amphoreus. So I only did that one event. The one with like the little puzzles and stuff. So that's like my only first step into the actual new planets. I didn't do anything else. But when doing the line art, definitely try to play into your strengths if you can. If you don't, if you didn't have the time to practice for whatever piece you're working on. So if you know you can't do like one fluid line, see if you can chunk it in and do like smaller, shorter strokes. But like try your best to be as clean as you can if you need it to be clean. And some people don't really care if you have like messy line art or line art that's like not nice and thin and crisp, I guess. So it's definitely up to your own preference. Your own preference plus your own intentions, I guess. Because for me, I know sometimes I have like a shaky hand when I do line art. So I'll take my chances by doing like smaller, shorter strokes and just really try to build up line width variation and draw attention to the places that I want it to be. actually doing more of a graphic line art because I'm also doing like a lot of these breaks, I feel like, too. Very stylistic. Okay, so I think majority of her head and face are finished. So I'm gonna move on to the clothing. Once I finish up these areas. Okay, so neck. So I do think this is a little confusing because I don't think I remembered what was what on my sketch. So a lot of like bends and curves or sharp corners, tangents. Tend to darken those places. Just helps create that depth that this piece desperately needed. Like all of my alcohol marker drawings. I think that's another thing. It's like whenever I get the question like, why do you do line work afterwards? And then sometimes I do line works beforehand. I feel like usually when I do like alcohol markers, I will always do the line art beforehand because I don't really want to like lose my sketch. I think that would be the worst. I think for watercolor I can figure it out, but I can definitely see the benefit of having my line art already established. But for me, like I mentioned, I prefer if my line art didn't feel like a coloring book and I wasn't like as restricted to it. Because it gives me the ability, like as you can see right now, I'm kind of like picking and choosing how much I want to accentuate certain lines. And I feel like if I just did the line work, I probably do every line as clean as I possibly could with like less breaks. And I'll be a little bit more confused on where I would want like certain parts to have more line width variation. Because sometimes I darken things just because I need them to stand out from its own color. And just inking on like a white surface, I can't really tell. Sometimes I know where like I want more definition or like contrast, depth. But other times I don't. Line art's also breaking my back. It makes everything look like a little bit more crisp and clear, which I really like whenever I do our darker line work at the very end. I do want to do like a redrawing Vocaloid, like my favorite Vocaloid songs, and do like redraws of like illustrations associated with it. Because like Just Be Friends, Answer, Deep Sea Girl. What else is there? I guess Rolling Girl, maybe. I don't remember what the artwork is for. Or like 1925 is a nice one, I think, as well. Also a very fun aesthetic. I was thinking whether or not I was going to summon for her. I don't think I am. I want to save for... I was going to call him Kevin. His name is not Kevin. I want to summon for Dynon, right? Because I think My Day, I don't think I'm gonna summon for him. One, he's not really my type. I think I like pretty boys more than like muscular. He always looks angry, so I feel like he's angry. The angry types. That are like gentlemen. Why did I say it like that? Gentleman type of males, I guess. Girls, I'm kind of a mixed bag, but I generally like the cuter ones. Not really into the ones that are more like what people might consider like the mommy type. Whatever Kafka is, I guess. Because I like Kafka's character and her design, but I like Silver Wolf more. But I didn't summon for like either of them. Because I liked Waha, I liked Runmei, Topaz, Asta. But let me know who you guys are summoning for. I feel like that's like really late into the video to ask you, but do let me know. There's another character I really want. Besides Screwlum. Kind of fits that gentleman type. But I forget what his name is. He's like the one with like the tealy greenish hair, I think. Wait, did I mention this? In Reverse 1999, I did get Tooth Fairy, which I'm glad, because initially when I was summoning on that one banner, I got 37 first. And though I don't like beans, just like her. Well, I don't mind beans. I don't like the texture of beans. But I wanted Tooth Fairy, so I put her on like the selector thing. I got her afterwards, so it's nice. I'm just glad I didn't waste everything just to get 37 only. Because, like, Tooth Fairy was the one that made me really want to play the game, because I really liked her design. Design, I guess, like, the artwork is, like, really pretty, but also the little chibi version I found so adorable. I love, like, the little characters. And, like, the suitcase versions and all that. I think it's just cute. Okay, we're almost done. We have like the dreaded hand that I don't like. Okay. I feel like this hand was just like incomplete when I sketched it out. Because I didn't really do the rest of like the joints of the fingers. What is this finger? What am I gonna do? Just gonna bend it one way, bends it the other way. Ah. I might put like a darker shadow in there. Kind of really manipulate it into looking like it's really bent, like inwards. So I'm gonna see if I can find like a dark enough purpley color. So even though I have to go out tomorrow, I'll see if I can do a quick illustration. Maybe we can do alcohol marker drawing instead. Do like a smaller version. It's like camera's in such a weird place. Okay, so two things I'm gonna fix up right away. One, darker purple to fix the fingers. Second, I need to fill in the space, and I think I used one of the yellow ochre colors. last but not least, dark purple. How else am I supposed to cover up this hand? Pearl Violet V050. Perfect. This one's quite dark. Let's see if it will work. This hand I hate. I don't know why I drew it like that. Guess I thought it looked fine in my sketch. Just gonna darken up some of these areas. I guess I never colored this then. Nor did I line it, so... one little last shadow over everything. Okay, add a little bit for line work. I think we're good. I don't think I'm going to outline the petals really. We're just going to suffer through that hand because it's definitely broken. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a kind of further away look at this. Fixed her a little bit, not by much in terms of how wonky the eye would look, but at least from what I can see of it, I like it a lot better. I definitely think it needed a contrast. I regret this still. I think I should have overlapped it a little bit more maybe, so it doesn't really look like it's like directly on her shoulder area. But this is kind of like the excess space we had, so I don't think it looks as bad. I still might trim the top. But for now, I think this actually looks kind of pretty. Does it really look like her? Not really. I definitely think I didn't get her hair shape right either. But for now, I guess like I still enjoyed doing the drawing. It was still fun to do. Like the golds I liked. I liked doing the whites so I could play around with some of the blues. I wish I incorporated more of like this rainbow color into her hair. Even though I do like the more like monochromatic, slightly glowy-ish orange color we have at the crown of her head. But yeah, here is Agaela. I think it's Agaela, but yeah, I don't really remember how to say her name at this point. But hopefully you guys enjoyed watching today's video. I'll be sure to do another session with the alcohol markers, either for like a stream or we'll do one that's like more ASMR focused. I just thought today would be fun to do more of a talky type of real time video for you guys. So yeah, I think that's it for today, and I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!